the show. Wait, Leslie Rob said what? What? Leslie Rob said what? What she said? What? Leslie Rob said what?
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Leslie Said What. And guys, tonight's series is going to be, tonight's series continues with teachers and testimonies, but we've combined it a little bit. And our guest tonight is not only going to talk about her journey to teaching, but she's also going to talk about and share some top teacher organization tips. And she's going to share about her second job, because let's be for real, we as teachers can't just work one job. I mean, let's just be for real. As per usual, please say hello in the comments so that we know that you're here. We want to give you guys a shout out. If you guys have any questions, any comments, feel free to drop them in the comments and we will address them accordingly. But without further ado, let's bring her on, Miss Doramarie Golanoski. Hey,
Hi,
Dora.
everybody. Hey, Leslie. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, I'm so glad you're here. Oh, my gosh. So, Dora, tell us all things. Who is Dora Golanoski?
Well, I am a mom of 3 boys. My twins are going to be 17 in about a month and a half, and I've got a 12-year-old. I've been married to my high school sweetheart for almost 20 years, and
that's awesome.
we live here in Northern Virginia.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, my gosh. Wow, your high school sweetheart. How rare does that happen? 20 years.
I know. We've been together a long time.
That's amazing. Oh, that's so good to hear. So, Dora, so tell us, what brought you to teaching?
Well, I came from a long line of teachers. My father was a history teacher and then a principal and a superintendent for 40 years in Pennsylvania. Wow. Yeah, in Pennsylvania. And my mom was a business teacher. So she taught for a little bit, was a stay-at-home mom, and then she went back and taught for another 10 years and retired when my youngest was born in 2011.
Okay.
And my sisters, I have twin sisters. They are both teachers and they're identical twins. So they actually teach different subjects. So one, like the 10th graders get my one sister, and then they have to move up to the 11th grade, and then they get the other sister. So it's kind of weird, but I have been, if I wasn't a teacher, I probably would have been a nurse, but it's just something that I enjoy doing. I love helping people. I love helping kiddos. And I even taught all throughout college to pay for all the extra stuff, because we all know college is expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And as an art major, I had to buy so many supplies. It was a lot. So I taught dance actually every Saturday for 4 years.
Oh my gosh. Hey, whatever you got to do to make it survive
Right?
college, right?
Right.
I remember working at McDonald's throughout college. Like, I would literally go to McDonald's, work the late shift, get up, go to classes, and do it all over again. So I get it.
It was a job, it was a job. And it honestly prepared me for what I was going to go into, because I taught 3-year-olds.
Oh,
yeah. I taught the babies.
Lovely.
I taught the babies.
You did say, like, we had talked prior to the show, and you had said you had taught for what, 2 years, and then took 16 years off, and you're back teaching for 2 years?
I actually taught for 5. So when my husband and I got married I taught in 2 years outside of Philadelphia, because we're from Pennsylvania. Then we moved here to Virginia, and I taught 3 years in Montgomery County, Maryland. And then during my last year, that's when I was pregnant with the twins. And I was like, I'm not going to go back. So, because childcare is ridiculous. So
it's insanely expensive. Of course.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to staying home with them. And then, we had another baby 4 years later. I'm like, that's it. I'm just going to hang out home. But when my youngest went to kindergarten, I became a substitute teacher, and I substituted for 7 years before I got a long-term sub position last year. And then I got hired.
Oh, okay. So you've been back, like you said, for 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Full-time 2 years. Mm-hmm.
Full-time 2 years. Cool. And what are you teaching now?
I teach art.
Okay, what grade level?
All high school.
Oh, okay. So I get that. Because I do family consumer sciences, all high school. So 9th through 12th.
Oh, we would have a good time. Let me tell you. We would have a good time. I love our facts department, and I love sneaking in there. And if I could decorate some cupcakes. I'm really happy about that.
I hear you. Well, it was so great that we all had today off for Martin Luther King Day. So that was great.
Absolutely.
And now with the snow coming, we're going to be off. Well, hopefully I'll be off tomorrow. I haven't gotten a call yet to say that we're off, but I know you guys did, right?
Yes. We flushed our ice cubes down the toilet at like 4:30. We were like really excited.
That is awesome. Oh my gosh. So you guys will be out for school tomorrow. Yeah, I'm hoping, Dora, that we'll be out for tomorrow. I mean, there's enough snow on the ground that hopefully we will be out, but you never know.
Well,
okay?
here's the
Stranger
thing.
things have happened.
Let's just we're just going to pray on it, but I have a feeling that the buses won't start tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
it'll have to just be a thing. Like we're hoping. Oh man. Okay, Dora. Well, okay. So like I said at the intro, we as teachers have no choice most of the time but to work a second job because we can't afford to just live off our teacher salary. Now, with your situation, your job used to be your full-time job, but now it has become your part-time job in addition to teaching. So can you tell us, what is your second job?
Well, I am a senior brand ambassador with Tula 12. It is an MLM or a direct sales company, and I sell planners because I love all things planning and organizing. That's my jam. Prior to that, I was with a jewelry company for over 10 years, and that was wonderful to be a stay-home mom and work that job. And then prior to that, I also taught Zumba for a couple of years.
Oh, so look at you.
That was great too. I mean, I had a lot of fun doing things because stay-home moms need to get out of the house and they need to have something.
Oh, for sure.
They need to have something. And then, in those years, I think what helped me really stay organized as a teacher and a mom was the fact that I was always in the classroom with my kids. I was room mom all the time.
Oh, wow.
I would say to the teachers, what do you need? When can I come? When can I make copies? When are you having parties? How can I round up all the parents? Here's goodie bags for Halloween. Here's stuff for Valentine's Day. Like, that was me. And I would round up parents and go, let's go. Because these teachers need help.
Yes.
They need help, especially on the lower level. So,
oh, for sure.
All of my planning and organization, like, kind of went into that. So it was very nice when I did start subbing because the teachers requested me. They're like, these kids, you're good. I'm like, yeah, I got this.
Well, and I agree with you on the, like, even though the stay-at-home moms, they always, are looking for something to do to get out of the house.
Exactly.
But it's the perfect marriage because the teachers then need the assistance. So, and there's some parents that we would just rather not help us.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
There are some parents that were like, you know what? It's okay. You know what? We're fine. We will find a way to survive.
Good. We'll take your donations. You want to give me some paper towels and tissues and hand sanitizer? I will totally take that. Or you want to donate some food? I'll take that.
Legit. We'll take there's parents that we want in the classroom helping us that we don't mind being around, but then there's others that were like, a donation that works out perfectly. You know what? We'll call it even.
And what was nice about that too is like some of those teachers became my friends and then turned into customers. So they would also be sharing what I do, which is great. And then
cool.
All of my planning then actually turned into workshopping. So I have done several workshops. They're called Take Back Your Time. I teach people how to time block. And I'm also a virtual assistant on the side.
Nice. Look at you.
Yeah.
Multitasking.
Just tiny things, but they bring me joy. And it's, the creative aspect. Like I'm always creating, doing something.
You know what? And that is awesome. And it's essential to definitely have that creative gene when it comes to teaching. But what's also great is like, yes, okay, teaching does bring us joy. But how like sometimes like that second job that we work has to be the thing that's like we're excited about, we want to do, can't wait to get there, because sometimes teaching can be so taxing and so draining that, our second job definitely has to be something that our hobby turned job or something like you said that brings us a lot of joy. So that's great.
Yeah. And it has to be fun. If it's not fun, I'm not doing
for sure. If it's not fun, what's the point? Like,
exactly.
I mean, let's just be real.
Exactly.
Now with you and, you're selling the planners and knowing about all the planning things. So I'm guessing you're pretty good at being organized, huh?
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
Are you? Okay, so why don't you share with us some top teacher organization tips?
Okay, I wrote them all down because I didn't want to forget, and I have 6 of them. So
Perfect. Let's get it done.
I think the first one is to develop a system. We all teach in different classrooms. We have different subjects, and whether we're elementary, middle, or high, you need to have a system. And your system could be different depending on your classroom setup, whether you have tables or whether you have desks or whether you have ovens like you in your room. You need to have a type of like classroom management system. I think that hands down has to be first. And then the second thing, I'm a huge fan of table bins.
Table bins.
Table bins.
Okay.
So by that, I mean, each table will always have a set of supplies. I have seen different teachers have those like cute little carts. If you're a big fan of the home edit, like me, you can do things in like rainbow order. You can have like everything on a specific cart and then they can wheel it. But I just go to the dollar store and get those like big rectangular buckets.
Okay.
And in there, I have these terrible pencil boxes that only cost like $1. And then I use Canva and I'll write table 1, or it'll say colored pencils, drawing pencils, whatever they need. It's just in that bucket and has to stay at that table, because then kids are not up and around the room all class period. I need this. I need that. I need a pencil. It's in your bin. It's at your table. I need a ruler. It's in your bin. It's at your table. Everything is there. And if there are other supplies that we're using, I have a system for that, whether I'm doing paint or whatever. And I'm sure you have to do the same thing when you're cooking. You know, if you're doing something, you have to have the ingredients. You have to have like everything laid out in a specific way. So these again are dirt cheap. You can get them at the dollar store. You can get them at Target. And if those don't work, you can get a bunch of these bad boys on Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
And just like put on a table. Boom. And then if things are missing, you can say, this period table, you don't get your supplies because you did not return them. You know, that kind of thing.
Oh my gosh, that makes complete sense.
Yeah, because you know people are walking away with your stuff.
Oh, for sure.
And another hot tip with that is label everything inside. So like everything will say our school name and the art department with a paint pen, not a Sharpie, because that's so you have to label it with a paint pen. We even label our erasers with a paint pen because they have legs and they walk away.
Yeah, so label everything, guys, with a paint pen, not a Sharpie. Okay, that's actually genius. You know, one of the teachers we were talking over the summer, and she said that, like, you know how like when, heaven forbid, our furniture gets moved from one classroom to another over the summer, you know, and then like she labels stuff. She used to label with Sharpie. Well, now she goes not even just a paint pen. She goes as far as to use one of those wood burning things.
She's
to burn
awesome.
her name and stuff in her furniture so that she's sure to get it back. But I do like the idea of paint markers.
Yeah, paint pens are great, but that's funny that you say that, because at the end of every school year, we write and we print them out, our room number, and we tape them to every piece of furniture that's movable to make sure that it goes back in our room. Because if we don't, we're not going to see our tables again.
Legit. Hence, label everything.
Label everything. Your printer, your new line, smartboard, whatever needs to sit, your chair. Oh my gosh, we were like, please, we have these beautiful chairs, and we put like seat covers on them. So we were taping them and like frog tape so it wouldn't come off, because we wanted to make sure we got our chairs back.
I don't blame you. Like, hey, use Gorilla Tape, duct tape, whatever works.
Exactly. Oh, yes. Okay. And then if you have a closet, so some people are blessed to have a closet in their classrooms. When I inherited my classroom last fall of 2022, the teacher who had it before me went on maternity leave, shoved everything in the closet and walked away. It took me 4 months to clean out that closet and throw things away. I got bins. It was awful. I got bins. I organized the paint in rainbow order so I could find my paint. Everything had a label. Everything was in a bin so that it was easily accessible. And you need to be able to walk into your closet to find your supplies, because a lot of teachers are just like throwing it in there. You have to have a backstock organization for yourself, because
Yeah.
you're never going to be able to find what you need if you run out.
It's so true. And you know what? When you said you inherited it from a teacher that went on maternity leave, I inherited a classroom from a teacher who had been teaching since 1978, and I inherited it in 2000, like 18 or something like that. So imagine, oh my gosh,
Lots.
40 years or so, whatever the math is. I'm not good at math, but 30 plus years worth of stuff. So yeah, I get it. Everything gets shoved in the closet, and it's out of sight, out of mind. But then the next person who comes in, it's all up in their mind, in their space.
And that's a big problem, because then you don't know what to order for next year,
Mhm.
and you don't know what you have and what's good and what's bad. Like it was awful. It was
Oh,
awful.
I can only imagine. So guys, you got to develop a good closet system.
Yes.
Now, Michelle in the comments says, I lost a personal heater because of my bad labeling, and it's 10 degrees. I could use that heater this week. Yes,
I get
definitely.
it.
You got to label better with a paint marker, like she said.
I get it. Oh, I'm sorry. I already said label everything. Teach your system to your students. So if you have no system whatsoever, you can start it now. You can start it anytime. Give it about 2 weeks. But my students know that when they walk in the room, and if they need to get handouts.
Okay.
Class is, I teach two different. I have Art 1 and Art 2. So my Art 2 students have the blue table. I put a blue tablecloth on it, and blue, one of those shelving units that they could just grab the handouts. They know as soon as they walk in, if there's new handouts, they grab them. Same thing with Art 1. They're purple. They grab it. The table buckets are there. I have a system for cleaning up, because we just finished a charcoal unit that is messy. So I have to call them by tables, spray with fixative their artwork outside, and then they have to wipe and spray their tables down for the next class. So
oh, nice.
I have to teach the system. And honestly, sometimes it's good if you pretend that they are in kindergarten, because kindergartners love to help, and they love
why not?
And they love to clean. The only thing I'm not a fan of is that kids line up at the door. And I will say to them all the time, I'm like, just because we're all cleaned up doesn't mean you line up at the door. There is no line leader. There is no door holder. There is no caboose. Sit down.
Yeah, you're like, this is high school.
Wait till the bell rings.
Yes. But it's funny that you said that sometimes they act just like the kindergartners, because the high school kids, I don't know about yours, but mine love stickers. Like, they love the sticker rewards and getting the candy prizes and the treasure box, and none of that dies just because they're in high school.
Exactly. Well, I have a birthday candy bucket, and when I take attendance, there's a little birthday cake that'll say when their birthday is. And I also teach a lot of EL students. So and that's English learners. So if I have a lot of students who speak Spanish, and I don't. So when I notice it's their birthday, I will walk up with the bucket, and I'll sing really quietly, "Cumpleaños feliz," and then everybody else will sing happy birthday too. But yeah, I have a bucket of candy. They love that. They love candy. It doesn't matter. Everyone loves candy. You're right.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing. Like, what cracks me up is I used to teach kindergarten, first grade, elementary. Teaching high school, there are a lot of the same similarities. Like, okay, you know, like the cutesy stuff that we're like, oh, that's an elementary classroom. My high school kids love those decorations.
Yes.
So hey,
my classroom is currently decorated for Valentine's Day, and I put a tree up for Christmas, and the kids made ornaments, and they're like, oh, we're going to make ornaments? Because I do have some students that did not celebrate, or they don't celebrate Christmas at all. I'm like, how can I turn this into an art lesson? So I bought these cute little wooden circles with holes in them, and I turned it into a mandala. I said, we're learning about a different culture, and we're going to hang it up, and they're beautiful. We painted them, and they did them in Sharpie. I'm like, this is great. And now I have some pieces for our art show in 2 months.
Oh, that is awesome. I love it. Love it. That's awesome. And the funny thing is it's like we always are trying to like make sure we're not offending somebody or walking on eggshells, but there's always a way around it. And I'm glad. That is so cool that you came up with that.
Yeah, they loved it. And we did that like, the Thanksgiving week where it's like nobody's gonna come anyway. So let's just have fun. So that was when we did that, those 2 days before Thanksgiving.
Well, cool. And I agree with you on teaching your system to your students because of the fact that when you have a sub, guess what? Things can continue rolling because your kids already know what the system is.
Exactly. I mean, the stacking of the chairs at the end of the day, just all of it. I mean, they know
the whole shebang.
They know what to do.
The kids got your back. Okay. Do you have any more tips for us?
Oh, I'm sorry. And the last tip is you need help. I am fortunate enough that I have a teacher aide, and all of the things that I don't like to do, I give to her because there's messy watercolors. If I need her to help me mat stuff for the art show, if I need her to help me clean things that I don't want to do, like writing on the erasers, art department, all that stuff with the paint pen. She does that. She's great. Last year I had 2 aides, and I had a boy who was great. I absolutely loved him. And he was able to lift the heavy stuff when we got into the clay and the ceramics unit. He was like, I got this. And he would put up furniture together, and it was great. So if you are in a school where you have the capability or the ability to have a teacher aide, take as many as you can. Technically at our school, we're only supposed to have 1, but my department has 4. Because there's so much cleanup, there's so much work in our department. As with, anybody teaching facts, anybody teaching an elective, I feel like you need the help.
For sure. Take the help. And that's the thing. Sometimes as teachers, I think we often feel like we have to do it all, but honestly, we don't. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay admitting that I need help.
Yes. And another, if you are not in the, if you can't have an aide, maybe it's like the honor society who need extra service hours, or, anybody from middle school that needs extra service hours. I know my actual children need a lot of service hours, and they will be helping me. They need to get their hours, and then, then you can have a trusted adult sign off on that.
And that's a great idea because the kids do need the community service hours if they want that seal on their diploma.
Right.
So we have a teacher aide in the comments that says, as a former aide, I can confirm we definitely get the messy jobs.
You do. We're sorry, but we love you. I treat my aide very well. I feed her almost every class period, and I buy her things.
Yes. Yeah, and June is a great person. I know her personally. So yes, she is a teacher aide, former teacher aide, but she was definitely a good one. Now, Richard is asking you, do you have any tips for calming down kids?
That's tough.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I also teach, because of art, I do have a lot of students with special needs. If talking quietly does not help, sometimes I'll pull them aside, have a conversation with them. I mean, we're in the thick of it as high schoolers. We have, I have a class full of freshmen. They're tough, but my older kids are not like that. So, I mean, I've had those situations, and it's like, what's going on? Sometimes I think pulling them to the side and having a conversation with them instead of having it in front of the entire class typically works.
Yeah, that does make a huge difference. And I'll offer my 2 cents. Richard, I'm not sure what grade level you teach, but I like Dora also teach high school, all grades 9 through 12. And for me, the environment itself, the classroom environment, and keeping that calm makes a huge difference in calming the kids. I know that sounds kind of like what, but I know and this doesn't work for everybody. And trust me, some teachers are going to eat me alive for saying this, but in my classroom, I have low lighting. We don't have the fluorescent lights on. I bought those I wish I had an example, but the floor lamps, the tall floor lamps, you can get them for like $10 at Walmart. I have those around my classroom, so it keeps the lighting very low. And then I always have music playing in the classroom while the kids are working. So calming the environment itself, the classroom atmosphere itself, is what I usually notice helps to keep the kids calm. So when my kids come in the morning on the smart board, I have a fireplace going with low music. The lights are low. The kids are calm. They come in and I actually observed one of my EL students. And if you guys don't know what EL, English language learners or whatever, it's so many different ones. ESL, EL, I don't know.
So, right.
It's all like we're talking about kids that that don't speak English. So I had one of my students, and most of the times those students, especially level 1s and level 2 students who are ELs, often have a hard time acclimating to the school. Some of them, they're on edge all day long trying to, whatever. I observed one of my EL students when he walked in with the fireplace and the low lighting, and he just went. He felt like he could just calm down for a second.
Yeah.
And I leave them alone for a good 5 minutes at the beginning of class, while I'm doing attendance, doing all the housekeeping things, and gives them that opportunity to kind of just debrief, to reacclimate, reset from whatever they had to, the hustle and bustle of their morning at home or the hustle and bustling of being in the hallways, whatever. So I noticed that if you calm the atmosphere and the environment, that kind of calms the kids. Just saying.
I agree. The music does help. I sometimes forget to put it on, but I'm quiet. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, I like it peaceful in there. And
yeah, no, I'm with you.
You're tired in the morning. It's my afternoon group after lunch that's like,
yeah. Oh my goodness, yes. Oh. And even then, and it's a good technique that would help too. After lunch or after something that's a high energy activity, they come in, it's calm, relaxed, whatever. And even calming activities, like, pull out some coloring pages. I know that sounds crazy. Like if Richard, it's one of your kids who just like, they cannot calm down. Coloring pages help. I know that sounds like juvenile, but believe it or not, it does help to calm them down.
Another thing that I do too is I sit with them at the tables and I'll do my artwork with them. Cause I always say to them, this is my first time teaching this assignment. I am doing this with you because
that's awesome.
I'm so new that, hey, I got tossed in an advanced level art class this year, which I've never taught before. And I said, I am learning with you. This with you. So if I'm frustrated, then you're frustrated. So let's figure out how to do it together. And sometimes that also helps to calm them down too.
Oh, for sure. Meeting them where they are and letting the kids know that you're coming down to their level and, you're working with them. And I love it. I love it. And even like with like my classes, like if it's an in-class assignment that they're working on, I'll grab my laptop and I'll sit at the table with them and I'll work at the table with them. They love it. I mean, it's like we're immersed in with them. And so they feel like we're a part of them and the class. So
they really like that.
They do. They truly do enjoy it. Well, Dora, thank you so much. So, a couple last questions before I let you go. So I asked this question to everybody who comes on. Teaching is a mission field, and we have to be the hands and feet of Jesus. So, how do you see yourself doing that each day?
Well, I absolutely love this question because I am in kind of a different situation than a lot of teachers. So, if I have a junior, I know most of these juniors because I was room mom since kindergarten. So I know so many of these kiddos and they call me Mama G. I am like another mom to them. And I'm considered a trusted adult. Just they come to me. They feel comfortable talking to me about that. I'm like, time out. Does mom know about this? What's happening? Like, what do I need to do? How can I help you? That happened last year and it's starting to happen this year, which is great because I'm watching these people grow up that I've known, for
that's awesome.
Watching them lose their first tooth and all of that. And another thing that I started doing, because last year I had a lot of kiddos that just really didn't have a whole lot of money and had a lot of family situations, especially for my girls. I started keeping feminine products in the closet that I put my own money for them so that, if something happens, no questions asked, they just go into the closet, and ask to use the restroom and then come back and do things like that, because I've been there. Like, it's terrible when that happens. And, I was in their shoes. I'm a woman. I'm like a mom to them. I don't know, if I had a daughter, I would want somebody to take care of her and do the same thing. So
Exactly.
doing things like that, and even having parties for my students, even though I'm not supposed to, I do I do it anyway. Like, before winter break, we had a cookie party and I made 150 sugar cookies and I brought them in and we had a cookie decorating party, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it. And it's just like those tiny things that I'm doing that the kids are like, she is appreciating me. She's taking care of me. I feel safe. Because there's all this talk about people leaving education because they're just done. The pandemic just totally ruined them.
Yeah.
And I came back because I wanted to make a difference, and I wanted to help people. And, secretly I wanted to spy on my children. So
Yeah.
like, sometimes that helps too.
Yeah. Well, I love how you answered that question, and you had a great lead into the next question is, do you have any encouragement for fellow teachers? Like, some teachers are just done and they don't know how they're going to make it from day to day, year to year, whatever, and they're just done. So what is something that you would say to encourage your fellow teachers?
Well, I have 3 tips for all
love it.
teachers. The first one is, you need to set boundaries. I know we want to say yes to everything, especially when admins ask us to do something. Say no. Like, you don't have to do everything, and you don't have to bring your schoolwork home every day.
100%.
When you're at school, you do school stuff. When you're home, you do home stuff, whether that is take a nap, because I take one every day, whether that is, go get your nails or your hair done. Like, that's your time. You put in your time contractually, or however you say that.
Yeah, you're right. Contractually.
Yes. You did your job. You're done. Leave it there. And whatever you did not finish that day, push it to the next day.
I love it. And that's what most teachers, I think, fail to remember. Like, guys, if you have given it your all, you have given it your best, do it to the best of your ability, and then let yourself have your time. I love how you said that.
You absolutely need your time. And then 2 is find a teacher bestie. I know you have a couple of teacher besties.
I do.
And I have one who I love. She's like a second mama to me. And my room is inside her classroom, so we get to spend a lot of time together, which is great. And then the last one is to take time for yourself, because
I love it.
You need to do that, or you're going to burn out.
Yeah. Self-care is essential. Oh my gosh, Dora, all 3 of those were amazing. Like, and it's ones that we all need to remember. And so the thing is, it's like the boundaries one is so key, because I don't know why it is, like, we end up feeling bad for setting boundaries. Like, but who else is going to do it? They asked me, I feel bad, and you know what? Oh my gosh. The one that I am so guilty of beating myself up is about, it's like, it's for the kids. But guys, we can't be fully for the kids. Like they say, you can't pour from an empty cup. So, like, you can't fully be there for the kids if you're not fully there for yourself as well. So,
well, and another thing too is, like, over winter break, I had some of my students emailing me, but I said on December 20th, which was our last day, I said, I am not grading anything over the holidays.
Nope.
We'll get graded on January 2nd when I come back. So you want to send me an email? Great. I'm not touching it until we get back to school. So, and I also don't grade on the weekends. I don't do it.
I love it. And there's no reason to think about it. Like, really. And like, what cracks me up is when the kids send stuff in on the weekend, is like, can you no.
Yes. They know that too. I am very transparent, because every Sunday, well, I didn't have to this weekend. I'll do it tomorrow, but I usually send home an email saying, this is what we did this week. This is what we're going to do this week. Please turn your stuff in, or you're going to fail.
I love that. And but that goes into the whole organization piece. It's knowing, especially some of his teachers, the seasoned teachers, who are like, we'll figure it out when we get there. But knowing ahead of time what we're going to do also makes a huge difference in organization. If we know what we're doing, then it's easier to implement it and the kids to know what we're doing. So, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we could just talk for an hour about how to lesson plan and get everything organized.
Oh, for sure.
And then there's all, beautiful Canvas. Do you use Canvas?
Oh, we have Canvas at our school. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
There's that. That's a whole other animal. And
that's a whole other animal. I know some schools are still like Google Classroom. Some are different, Schoology or whatever. Some use Blackboard still, but I mean, I do like Canvas. It's just a whole nother beast.
I love it, but then I get down a rabbit hole because I want to make it pretty, and I'm going to make things out of Canva, and then I'm taking longer than I should be.
I totally get it. I mean, my Canvas is gorgeous, but it took like a lot of work to get it there.
Yes, and my poor Canva.
Yeah. And the thing is with Canvas, with my students, I'm glad, thankfully that our school obviously is going to buy it year to year, because then you just like pick it up and put it in, because if I had to start over again every year, it would not be a thing.
I concur. That sandbox feature is beautiful.
Yeah. So awesome. We have another comment. Okay, let's see. Ashley Nicole. Okay, so she says, my school system expects me to be there whenever parents or students call for driver's education paperwork and teaching behind the wheel.
Oh, are you a PE teacher?
Yeah, you must be like a PE teacher. So then like the extra time, yeah, no.
I was going to say, you should, I'm almost positive that you get paid for that behind the wheel. And if you don't, I wouldn't stay. I mean, I don't know what is in our county that our PE teachers get extra stipend for when they have to do behind the wheel, because it's expensive.
Well, yeah. And the expectation for you to do something past contractual hours that you aren't getting paid for. Now, here's the thing. When they say expect, like, and this is how they get you. If this is what we encourage you to do, okay, or you're expected to do, that does not mean that you are mandated by your contract to do something. So again, that goes back to that tip that Dora mentioned about boundaries. Like, just because you feel like you have to, let's not. Okay, well, she says, yes, in Caroline County, no one else teaches it. Oh my goodness, that's insane. And she says we were getting $12.85 an hour to stay past. Well, if anything, they should equate it to the amount that your hourly rate that's within your salary, not wow. That's
what are the students paying for this service?
Yeah.
You should be getting.
Yeah, because like then that should equate to what you're getting paid. It should be equated to what the kids are paying for the service. But it also should, like how sometimes with your contract, it'll show you technically what we make per hour, or your pay stub technically breaks down what we make per hour. You should at least be making that if you're working past contract hours. So Ashley,
Yeah, Ashley, I would check too, because I know that if you are a sponsor or a club sponsor, there's an extra contract that you need to sign where you get a stipend.
Yeah.
So maybe I would go straight to HR.
Yeah, she said students are only paying $100 and I got 90 out of it. Oh, wow. Interesting. Very interesting. That's definitely something I would talk with your HR department about.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's over 300 here. I know that for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's really expensive up here. Because believe it or not, Dora and I only an hour apart from each other, guys. So like she's in Northern Virginia. I'm in like still northern, but more south than you are, I think. Yeah, because you're Prince William, I'm Spotsy. So yeah. But yeah, definitely, Ashley, and you're even further south than I am, Ashley. You're Caroline, which is down below me. So yeah, definitely check in with your HR, because you have one thing I will say, and this is a tip that I think both Dora and I would both agree on, is to advocate for yourself.
Absolutely.
As a teacher, if you don't advocate for yourself, neither will anybody else. So advocate for yourself. And Ashley said that Spotsy doesn't teach behind the wheel. That's interesting. Yeah, I thought it was offered in all counties, but maybe not. So yeah, definitely, Ashley, definitely look into that with your HR department, because you want to make sure that you're advocating for yourself.
And you know what? Actually, the other thing I would do is check out a private company that is also doing the exact same thing and have like maybe 3 different companies with quotes and say, this is what they're charging. This is what, I deserve to be paid or whatever, because I know that our school and the private companies are pretty comparable.
Oh yeah, and that makes sense, Ashley. Like that's you know how it is when we go to HR, we go to anybody in authority in the school system. They don't want us just to provide the problem; they want us to provide the solution. So, like, if you take what Dora just said, and then you have like tangible, proof, yeah, and then you can show them that this is what you should be, equates to what you should be getting paid. So yeah, so definitely advocate yourself with your HR. Guys, that is all we have for you guys. Like, Dora, thank you so much for being here. Now, guys, if you are just amazed by Dora like I am, with all these organization tips and the planners that she mentions that she sells, if I were you guys, I would definitely go follow Dora so that you stay up to date on all things Dora and planning and organizing. She had a great post the other day on Instagram about journaling. So yes, definitely, guys, follow Dora on Instagram and YouTube. And here it is here. And if you need the correct spelling, it's EIRAMAROD for those of you guys who are listening by podcast. Again, it's EIRAMAROD. And then you can follow Dora on Instagram and YouTube. So guys, as I always say, feel free to share this with a friend because Dora offered some great tips and some great advice that fits all teachers across all grade levels. So definitely, if you want to share it with a friend for them to watch it tomorrow or later on tonight, they can re-watch it on YouTube, on my YouTube, www.lesliesaidwhat.com, and they can rewatch the episode. Or tomorrow they can listen to it on all podcast channels, the Leslie Said What podcast. Okay. So definitely, guys, share. It's only fair with your friends. Dora, I'm going to pull you backstage and I'm going to chat with you in just a few. But thank you so much, Dora, for being here.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, well, I appreciate you. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Dora nailed it. Like, she gave us all some advice that we can all take and some tips that we can apply immediately to our classroom. Some great takeaways, better than any PD we've probably been to recently. Am I right? All right, guys. That is it. See, Leslie Said What, season 4, episode 9 is out.